Hello guys, this is AM and welcome to the channel. Let's talk, discuss and get our hands dirty with Git today. For those who do not know what is Git, Git is a version controlling system. It tries to catch the differences between the earlier version of your file with the current one. Git is a open source software, so there is a lot of development happening, and in fact Git is one of the most widely used version controlling system in the world. For those who are wondering what is version controlling, there is a link in the description below. Before we work with Git, let's get one thing clear. What is difference between Git and GitHub? So Git, as I said, is a version controlling system which is in its own a software, and it is developed by Git developers. But GitHub is a website where people can store their codes using Git technology in a remote server. That is, in Git terminology, we call Git push, and it also allows people to collaborate and share their code very easily. Now let's see Git in action in our computers. Move there.
Before you start working with Git, you need to install Git in your local machines. In case of Linux, it is built in, but in case of Windows and Mac, you can install it from the Git official website that is linked in the description below. You can get the latest version from that website. The installation process is pretty self-explanatory and easy. Therefore, I shall be skipping that part and moving ahead. If Git is not installed in your machine, make sure you install it and get back. I hope Git is now installed in your computer. Git can be used both in Bash as well as GUI. Bash is just console based application like which looks something like this, and GUI based looks more intuitive. First, we need to create an empty directory in which we will be getting the source code. So now let's create the empty directory in this particular. So I have already created this empty directory, but this empty directory is not ready for the version controlling because this directory or a folder is not initialized with Git metadata. So this can be done by using git init command. This actually initializes the folder or a directory with .git folder, which consists various files, which is used acts as metadata and can be used for Git to track the changes in the directory. As we have now initialized the directory, now it's time to get the source code from the remote server. This can be done by using the command pull. So the command syntax is something like git pull origin, but as you have realized, we have not anywhere specified what the origin of this directory is. So before we can pull the source code, we need to include this origin. For that, we need to use the command git remote add origin, and the next parameter to it is the URL of this particular repository. You can get this from the address bar of this repository, or you can get this from here as well. You just paste it, and after pressing the enter, the origin is added. As origin is already added, we can verify whether the origin is right or wrong with the command git remote -v to verify the origin. Yes, it is the right one. So we are clear and good to go. We can pull the source code by using the command git pull origin, and the last parameter is master. That is nothing but a branch, the main branch or trunk in Git. Git has a concept called branches and branching, which will be looking at in the later part of this video, but keep in mind that working now on master branch, that is the main branch in Git. Now let's look at our directory, whether we have really got those files or not. Yes, we have got all the files from the repository to our local machine. So now as this directory is under version controlling, let's now add or change something in this index file to check whether Git is working or not. So we have got our index.html here. For now, let's try to change the title of the page to our channel name. So now uh, let's look at the HTML page. So yes, we have changed this in this HTML, but let's see whether Git has really tracked this change or not by using this command git status. So as you can see, it's specified here that index.html is modified. So now to actually make change and commit is like a milestone or a checkpoint in the history of which can be later referred or recovered in the near future or any time in the future until the .git file is not altered. So to actually commit these changes, we need to add this particular file which is not yet added. This is called unstaged file. This file should be staged, and after staging process, this file will be called as staged file. To add this particular file, we need to explicitly add this file in this manner. So to see whether to see the changes, this particular file is now staged. But what if there are like 30 to 20 files which we have changed, and it is very pain to add all this file one by one? For that, we have other wildcard commands like git add -a to add all, or something like this, also to add all the files which are unstaged. And we can add a particular type of a file with extension like this or anything like this. As we have now staged all the files, we can now commit. We can do so by using the command git commit -m and the message. The message is like every commit is associated with a message which generally corresponds to what changes we have made in that particular commit. Commit is like a milestone or a checkpoint in the history of the Git. So whenever we want to recover or refer this particular commit, which can be referred by using this particular message. For now, we can add the message like changed title. So now it is committed. So in the history of Git, there can be many number of commits, but if you want to look at what are those commits are, and if you want to refer any of the commits, we can easily get those by using the command git log. So as you can see, our latest commit changed title here. All the other timestamp and author as also mentioned in this log. As we have done couple of changes and did a commit for ourselves, we can actually push this change to a remote server. But before we actually do that, we can do much more in our local machine itself, and there are concepts like branching which we have already we were working on single branch, that is master branch. This can be called as trunk as well, but we can create branches from master branch. So this can be very useful. Consider you want to experiment a feature for your project, but you don't want to hamper the stable state of the current repo or current state of the master. In such case, you can branch out from the master and develop from that branch. And later you can merge the changes from that branch to the master if you are really satisfied with the changes in the particular branch. Let's try to create a branch. Consider a situation that you want to give the development process for the header to person A, and also the development for the content or the contact or the footer here to person B. For that, you have to create two copies of this. This can be very intuitively done with the can be done with the help of branching. So we need to create two branches called header feature and a contact feature, and give these two copies to two different persons, right? So now let's create a branch called header feature first. Yes, as you can see here, we have already switched to header feature branch. And at this point of time, let's also create another branch called contact feature. Yes, so we have all now switched to contact feature branch. Let's check out to master to move back to master branch. Let's check out to header feature branch and make some changes to header. So if you head back to our Atom word processor, you can see that you can see no changes here, but whenever you want to make any changes, that I want to remove this mobile part here, and assume that this developer A has understood that he has to remove this contact part. Also change the color of this background color to something like another color. I don't know what color is called, but let's look at it here. Yeah, this color. Consider that this headers feature is completed. Now let's see what are the changes are made. So we have made a change to index.html and also to custom -min that we have added our background in. Now let's stage these files, and now commit with a message called added color and removed contact. So we have committed it. If you want to check out master branch, and if you now refresh this, you see that all the changes that are made in header feature are not yet merged with this, because whatever change we do is just restricted to header feature but not to master. If you want those changes to come to master branch, what you need to do is use the command merge with what branch header feature. Yes, so we have successfully merged. Now once we go to our page and reload this, you have got all the changes that you have made in header feature. Now let's say that contact feature branch developer want to develop his changes to the footer. So let's check out first to contact feature branch and head back to our word processor Atom, and make some random changes to it, like Let's remove this name here. Let's remove this one, and also let's assume that he was also told to change this color to something more random, like 5. No, so let's see what are those changes are. So yeah, so he was told to make this thing, and he was successfully made this, but as you realize now, the contact feature branch is not updated uh, with the master branch, or not synchronized with the master branch. Do you think will there be any kind of a conflict with this commit in the branch? Let's see first status. We have two unstaged files, so git add all, and we'll commit this, and keep changed, we'll keep removed text and changed color. Yes, this commit to this particular branch is successful, and as you see, there is no kind of a conflict to this. But consider that this particular component is perfectly developed and should be merged with the master. So let's head back to master branch and merge this. So git merge with contact. So now, as you can see here, the merge is not complete, and it is showing a conflict here in this particular custom.min. But when you go back here, we will get something like this. This is a merge conflict, that the git auto merger is not able to merge these two files automatically, and wants a developer to make the decision. So here it states that the contact feature had made this change, but even before that, he should be updating his repository or a local repository with the updated the latest one, because the latest commit to the master is this small merge conflict can be easily solved by removing deciding which one do you want. So I think the updated the color updated by header feature branch is right, so I'll remove all this. Yes, so I have saved this, and git commit -m and say contact component added. So even though we have removed that, this conflict is not resolved. So for that, we need to actually let's see the status. So both modified, so this is still not staged. So for that, we can add these files, and let's try to commit now. Yes, we have successfully committed, and this status message it's changed to master as normal. Let's head back to our HTML file and see that we have successfully merged this contact and header component. As we have done with the local changes and the modifications, let's now push all these changes to a remote server. For that, you need to create a repository on Git, which is very simple. So let's create Git YouTube. We have successfully created a remote repository. Now it's time to push all the source code from the local repository to this particular repository. For that, we need to reset this origin reset our local repository origin to this origin. So for that we can use git remote set URL origin and the URL itself. Yes, we can verify by command. Yes, it is right. So we can use git push origin master. This particular command requires our authentication. So yes, now all the source code from our local machine is being copied or transferred to the remote repository. So all the changes which we have changed will be visible in this directory, and as well as all the commits as well, because we didn't change .git file here. That's it for today's video, guys. That's your intro to Git. I'll see you in the next one.